Hello, everyone. It's Brenda Miller. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Basking Ridge, New Jersey, and I go live every Wednesday at 3 o'clock. You may notice that I am not live today. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties. My computer does not, it's not cooperating. And so I'm actually recording this just ahead of the 3 o'clock time frame so that I could post this at 3 o'clock. So it may look a little bit different, but we're going to go through the same content. So today we are up to template number 19. I've been working my way through the templates on page 22 of the annual catalog from Stampin' Up! And we've got a good one today. So you can see it over there, but let me make this full screen for us so that we can actually see how it's going. So this is what template number 19 looks like. You can see it's got a bunch of little teeny tiny circles, and it's kind of fun. I modified it just a little bit to make the card that I made, but I'm going to go ahead and walk you through that. So again, template number 19. And I'm going to just start with just showing you a card that I had been working on. I just needed an anniversary card. I wanted something really quick. So I had my Countryside Inn Designer Series paper out and some of this fun ribbon. And I said, oh, you know what? Let's use the same idea for the card that we're going to make with the template. So that is what I did. So here is the card. And you can see that I used a whole bunch of little paper scraps and I cut them into circles. Now these circles are about an inch in diameter, and I used the decal circles in order to cut them out. And I used the teeny tiniest one, which is this one, and it is about an inch. So I just took 3 sheets of the Designer Series paper and I cut out 12 circles. Now, let me tell you, when you're working with framelits, which is what these are. Now, the difference between a framelit and a different kind of die is that it just cuts out an outline. Okay, so that's what that's a Sizzix branding name, I believe. And I'm using the same terminology as Sizzix does. Sizzix used to be our supplier. We now make our own, I think, or get them from somebody else. But you can see that when you cut it out, it's only cutting out the outline. And when you use other dies, there's more intricacy on the inside. But my point is, when you're using a framelit, you can usually use 2 pieces of paper at once, or in this case, because our Designer Series paper is so thin, I actually used 3 at the same time. So I took 3 different pieces of Designer Series paper from the Countryside Inn collection, and what I did was I cut out 3 at a time, and I cut a total of 12. And let's see, these are a little bit mixed up, but you can see that I've got 12 different circles, and we're going to arrange them on a card in order to do this. Now, I may have not used, I did cut out a whole lot of circles, so I may have not quite the right variety here, but on this card, they definitely are 3 different pattern papers, and I use both sides. So, and there's some hidden under here. So let's just see how that looks. So I'm going to take a piece of basic white cardstock. And what I did, because I'm sneaky like that, I arranged them the way that I wanted them. And I'm actually, you probably saw that, I'm going to use my wet glue, because wet glue allows you to, let's see, I'm just going to do something that's a little more pleasing to my eye. Who knows? Some of these have a right side up, some of them don't. But I'm just arranging the 12 circles, trying to keep them evenly spaced. I'm going to mix up a couple of things. Actually, this one can go there. See, I have that there. So you could just duplicate it like I'm doing here. And this one has another one of those polka dots, but as you can see, I did not grab the right one, so Let's see. All right, well, you get the idea. So we're going to put a circle there. I'll put one here, and I'll put that there. Okay, so I have kind of the way that I want it, and I just want them evenly spaced. And what I'm doing is just lining it up, and then I'm just going to use my wet glue and lay them down. Just pick it up, put a dot, and press down. And what's nice about it being the wet glue is that you can move it just a little bit to get it lined up the way you want it. Okay, so that looks pretty well lined up. I'm going to you could put it right onto the circle like I just did there. Why did I do that? I don't know. Because you could also lay out your little circle, your little dots right onto your paper, and then just mix them up and put down your circles. Now, of course, that, I need to be able to think. I can't just do that. I need to have kind of a design in mind, but that's another way to do it, especially if you're using, let's say, single colors, where, I'm trying to mix up the patterns a little bit. Did I do that right? Yeah. All right. Not the best, but we're going to cover up some of this anyway. So you can see that I am just laying them down. And you know what? It really doesn't matter if they're perfect either. So, because nobody's measuring, and this is the background. So we've created our background using this. So nobody's really looking at this because they're really going to be looking at the focal point. All right, so now I've got them down pretty much where I want them, giving them a nice little press because I'm using my wet glue. I'm going to put my wet glue aside. So then I said, oh, well, let me use a big circle for my focal point. And just as I did on this card, I said, oh, let me just do the same thing I did there. So out came my 2 3/8 inch circle punch. You can see that. And another piece of white cardstock. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting out my circle first because I want to make sure that it fits in there really nicely. Now, what the stamp set I used was this one this one's called Sentimental Park. This was a bundle in the last catalog, but it is now no longer sold as a bundle. It was sold with dies, but you buy them separately. And you can see here the dies are in here. There's a whole bunch of them. Definitely worth it for those of you who might be looking for something like that, even if it's just for this fun die all by itself. But you can see that, easier to look at it this way. There are a bunch of little sayings, and here it has your anniversary. So I've been using this a lot for my anniversary. And the idea is that it can combine with some of these bigger sayings, and you can, put them together. So what I did was I took 3 stamps. I used the best wishes. Put that at the top. Where can I see that? Yeah, there we go. And then I have the 4 to put in the middle, and then your anniversary. So what I did was, and I'm not going to do it again, but I laid them down individually. So I put the happy anniversary first, and I picked it up with my block, and then I laid down the 4, and I took the same block and I picked up that, and that way it helped me line things up. Okay, so I took my Night of Navy ink pad and a little tap, tap, tap. And I'm just going to put that right in the middle. I could have made this circle a little bit smaller, but I like that it has nice, I like having that border because I wanted to look kind of plain like that. So I got out this outline die for flowers. Now in the stamp set, you can see you can actually 2-step stamp this. So you could lay down your color and then put the outline right on top of it, which looks fabulous. But because I'm putting it in the background, I'm just going to use the outline, and I'm going to actually stamp off too. So I'm going to stamp onto my scratch paper. This is boho blue. And then I'm going to take it right over and stamp right on top of my lettering. But look at that. Because it's so subtle, it's in the background. I could add more if I wanted to, but I liked it like this. So I went ahead and I put it onto my card, and I said, oh boy, All right, that looks okay, but I'm not sold on it yet. So I'm going to go ahead and lay it down onto a sheet of dun, 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 Night of Navy cardstock. And I'm going to take my Night of Navy cardstock and I'm going to fold it in half. Give it a nice crease with my bone folder. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to put it on the front of the card. Okay, so that looks good. I'm going to use my regular Stampin' Seal for this because there's no texture or anything. So can go on. Now, which way was up? There was a little tree there. That's how I knew that that was what I considered up. Not that it really mattered that much. These flowers actually have a direction. So I put it on there and I still am not loving that. So what I decided to do was I took a strip of Night of Navy cardstock. Yes, I did. And it was here a second ago. I just had it. Oh my goodness. Even when I tape it, I still can't get it right. Here we go. So I cut this 3/4 of an inch by 3 3/4 of an inch. So it didn't quite go to the edge. I could have done it all the way at the edge, but I decided I didn't really want to do that. And I'm just going to lay this down. And what this does is it helps to ground the focal point. Okay. So by putting that right in the middle, when I put this on, it helps, I think, to pop this up and make it much more noticeable. And I'm going to physically pop it up as well by using some dimensionals on the back of the focal point. And I'm going to put that down. And to me, to my eye, that looks better. Now I could also add my little bow and I end up with the card that looks like this. This ribbon is really cool. It has like a little stripe to it and it comes in a 2-pack. It is the petal pink and white ribbon. Let me show that to you in the catalog so that you know if you're looking for it, what that is. So let's turn to it. Sorry, I didn't have it already open. That was silly. But it is here. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so this ribbon is actually, I believe, number 11, and is petal pink and white 1/4 inch diagonal trim combo. So it's down here, and you can see it here in the photo. So it shows you both the white and the petal pink. It's really pretty. I like using it, and it ties into a nice tiny knot. I just stuck it down with a glue dot, and voila. Now, also in one of my classes that I held recently, I realized that I used the same kind of idea, but I didn't use circles. And this was a card inspired by Mary Fish, where she used the postage stamp squares. And this is the little latte designer series paper and the latte love stamp set and dies. Isn't that cute? So it's just another way to use scraps of paper in your background to create again, that background so that your focal point with your message actually really stands out like that a little bit more. So that was what I wanted to share with you today. That's a couple of different things. And hopefully, if you have any comments or questions or anything about these cards, please be sure to let me know in the comments. I will go back and read them. And I am sorry I'm not actually live today, but hopefully I can get this fixed for next week. Last week it didn't work at all. And at least I gave myself some more time so that I could record it in advance. But please put your comments out there. I'd love to see them. And thank you so much for joining me. Take care. We'll see you next time.